Good afternoon. Live from Kresge Auditorium in Cambridge, this is the 5th annual MIT Sloan CIO Symposium Award for Innovation Leadership. My name is Ray Chang. I am the co-chair for the award program, along with my fellow co-chair, Al Tedesco. Well, sorry, that's what you get for doing it live. Many years ago, when I was sitting in our award presenters class in Sloan School, he picked up a chair, put it on a desk, and then demanded that the class tell him what it was. We said, "It's a chair." He said, "No. It's a coat rack. It's a doorstop. It's a ladder. It's a tent pole." It was an exercise in brainstorming, out-of-the-box thinking, which are key elements of innovation. Taking an object and using it for a purpose never imagined by its original designers. 10 minutes ago, if I told you that a car was a musical instrument, what would you have thought? It is my pleasure to introduce the host of the award ceremony, the David Austin Professor of Marketing, the Dean Emeritus of MIT Sloan, and Chairman of the MIT Center for Digital Business. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the professor who thinks a chair is an imaginary race car, Glen Urban.
Thank you. One of the more unique introductions I've ever had, I must say. Well, thanks for coming, and we particularly want to thank all the people who entered the contest this year. This is the 5th year of the awards, and the applicant pool was larger this year than last. And we had a real distinguished panel judging this, and can really thank them for putting in a lot of time, including some of the former CIOs, past winners, industry thought leaders, some MIT researchers. And there was a quite elaborate process of screening, analysis, and actual personal interviews to select the winner. We were looking for leadership, innovation, and business value. In particular, looking for a visionary view of IT and the firm, kind of a strategic position for IT in that firm, and a change culture that leads to new and innovative applications. So we got a lot of exciting entries, and without any further ado, let's meet some of the finalists.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, our first finalist is the Vice President and Chief Information Officer at Eastern Maine Healthcare Systems. She is the executive sponsor for the Bangor Beacon community, improving the health of the people in Bangor through care management supported by health information technology. She is a fellow in the American College of Healthcare Executives, named the 2010 CIO of the Year by the New England HIMSS, and a panelist at this year's symposium, and most recently a guest organist at the MIT Chapel. With an MBA from Southern Methodist University, Cox School of Business, and a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics from the University of Delaware, please welcome finalist number 1, Kathy Bruno.
A lot of sailing in Maine, so I'm really interested in your kind of IT work. But tell me a little bit about Eastern Maine Health Systems. I never had to use them, so I guess that's good news.
That's good news.
But what's that all about, and kind of what were the challenges for IT there?
Sure. Eastern Maine Healthcare Systems is 7 hospitals, about 650 doctors, and we serve the northern 2/3 of the geography of the state of Maine. We have a tertiary hospital, Eastern Maine Medical Center in Bangor, and then 6 other hospitals throughout the state. And we have revolutionary information systems, and one of the big things that's important about us is that we are a beacon community in Bangor.
Great, and I'm sure medical systems have huge amounts of data dispersed in wide places. I understand you've kind of developed a single record system.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that and how that came about and what were difficulties there.
Sure. right at the beginning of the 21st century, the Eastern Maine healthcare system's leadership decided that they wanted to invest in electronic health records so that we could have a single unified record for all of our patients. The key focus at Eastern Maine is our patient safety initiatives and our quality initiatives. So we want to make sure that our patients are as safe as possible. And we saw the electronic health record as being important for that. There is just so much medical information now that it's hard for our clinicians to keep track of it all. So we build in appropriate order sets with best practices, appropriate alerts and reminders, all in the goal of having our patients be as safe as possible.
So this really goes right to the fundamentals of delivering care. And if I remember some of my doctors, and they're kind of independent-minded, and they don't like to be told what to do. How do you implement such a system when you've got all these individual actors, maybe some with big egos?
Well, we involve them very closely. So we have a physician who is a leader, our chief medical information officer, and he recruited appropriate diversity of specialists to work with us as we implement our systems, and also primary care physicians. So we work hand in hand with our clinicians as we design and put in the systems. And when you have a common goal of improving patient safety, that is important and helps have them all be a partner in that implementation with you.
So real buy-in and get them involved in helping spec out the system and
Right.
control. So what's the impact been? You have some metrics on how much that helped?
I would like to talk about the Bangor Beacon community some.
Sure.
In the Bangor Beacon community, it's one of 17 beacon communities in the United States. And we were given a 3-year, $12.75 million grant by the Office of the National Coordinator for Health Information Technology. And our goal is to improve the health of the people of the Bangor area through care management facilitated by health information technology. When we first got that grant, we had a lot of excitement among the partners because it's 12 partners. So it's not just Eastern Maine Healthcare Systems. It includes a large federally qualified health center, Penobscot Community Healthcare, the other hospital in town, St. Joseph's. And so we've worked collaboratively to develop goals to improve this health. And we are focusing on 4 chronic diseases: asthma, diabetes, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and congestive heart failure. And we are working closely with those patients. We have recruited about 1,200 of them to work with us. And we have significantly reduced hospitalizations, 46% in a 6-month period, and reduced emergency department visits, 40% in a 6-month period. And we've improved quality indicators, and we've also improved self-reported by the patients their quality of life. They feel more in control of their disease. They can manage their symptoms better.
Great. Sounds like a real impact, not only medically, but people feel good about it.
Right.
So maybe you'll be a good national model for
you.
taking that forward.
We've actually used that as a foundation to apply to be a Pioneer Accountable Care Organization with the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. So,
Good. Congratulations.
thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Happy Bruno. Our second finalist is the Chief Information Officer of Network Rail, leading a technology portfolio focused on reducing the cost of running the railway by 21% by the year 2014. She has held senior and executive roles in both IT and the business operations within FTSE top 20 companies in the United Kingdom. Previously, she spent 7 years at Barclays Banking Group in a variety of executive roles in technology, change, and operations. She is passionate about using innovative technology to drive increased business performance. Last year, her department won 2 United Kingdom IT Industry Awards. She is on the board of Leeds Metropolitan University as a non-executive director. And she did not arrive here today by train. Ladies and gentlemen, here is finalist number 2, Susan Cooklin.
Welcome, Susan.
Thank you, Glenn.
So Network Rail is kind of a new entity for me. Tell me a little bit about the company in Britain and the rail service, and maybe a little bit about how you found IT when you got there.
Absolutely. Network Rail runs the infrastructure for the UK railway. That means we manage all the bits of the railway that don't move. We manage the bridges, the track, the signal boxes, and we run 24,000 trains a day across the UK network. So to give you some sense of size, if you imagine a state like Michigan with about 10 cities like Detroit in it, and 24,000 trains running a day, that's what my business does. And I support the technology to deliver that. So if you're at a big station in King's Cross in London or in Euston Station, and all the boards with all the times of the trains on it and all the timetabling systems, if they're not there, if that information's not there, that's my job. It's my neck on the line.
So I understand one of the things you tried to do there was really move IT to a kind of a strategic position.
Yes.
Were you able to do that, and how did you do that?
Yes, and I have managed to do that. When I took on the role, which is about 2.5 years ago, what I found was a department quite disengaged from the business and conversations with other parts of the business, and quite disengaged with each other. So kind of low motivation, people not coming together enough, not delivering the projects that we needed to deliver in the time that we needed to deliver them. And really what I've been doing over the last 18 months or so is really trying to change the culture within the function to make us much more agile, to make us much more innovative, and to create a happy board.
So you're kind of changing not just the information flow, but the actual culture. I mean, it sounds like you're the organization change agent, is that?
Well, I think most CIOs kind of end up in that position. I think being a good change agent is absolutely essential in delivering increased performance for a business.
So that's not only giving people the information they want, but kind of giving them the mental set to innovate and work together.
Absolutely.
Well, that's not a very easy job. I mean, you think about cultures and the way they are, and to change them, that's a big challenge. What are the lessons learned about how to cause a revolutionary change in culture?
I think the lessons I've learned is, and the difficulty that I had was I came from a background in financial services. So I'd spent 20 years working for banks, and engineers are very different from bankers. And I work in a safety culture, safety-driven environment. So encouraging people to take risks in a safety environment is actually very difficult. And really what I've had to do is have a lot of tenacity, a lot of resilience, and really lead through my own experience and taking risks myself, not always succeeding, showing the team how to do that. And what's been essential really is a very clear communication strategy, from big presentations to walking, the management by walking about. You can never underestimate that and the powerfulness of that.
So that's kind of interesting. You came from finance, where probably risk is common denominator, maybe too much, to a culture where risk was intolerable and maybe not enough risk taking.
It's financial risk in a bank it's financial risk. In the railway, it's personal risk and it's people's lives. And it's a different
So did this pay off? Are the trains running better?
Well, it has paid off. What I'm seeing now, I mean, some of you will be aware we have this small sporting event in July in London called the Olympics.
We have a few people coming for that?
We've got 800,000 extra people a day in London travelling. Nearly all of them, almost 100%, will be using public transport to get to the games.
And you're here?
Well, you know what? There was a comment this morning about people doing the dishes. CIOs still doing the dishes. I don't do the dishes. That's why I'm here. I have a very
good staff.
I have a fantastic team. But the Olympics, the spirit of the Olympics and the focus to deliver for the Olympics has seen my team's performance just exponentially get better.
Under the challenge.
And the trick for me is to see how can we bottle that agility, how can we bottle that delivery over the last 3 to 6 months and make it our business as usual after the Olympics.
If you can get through the Olympics, maybe it'll be a piece of cake to do the rest.
Absolutely.
But it sounds like a great job of culture change and innovation.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, Susan Cooklin. Our third finalist is the Chief Information Officer of the City of Boston. Under his leadership, Boston has been recognized for leveraging technology to improve citizen engagement and access to services. Last year, he was named as one of the top 25 public sector innovators by Government Technology Magazine, and was recently named the New England CIO Innovation Award winner by Mass High Tech and the 2012 CIO Magazine Hall of Fame. A graduate of Boston College, a proud parent of 2 Boston College grads, a son of a Boston College grad, an attorney and member of the Massachusetts Bar with multiple degrees from Suffolk University Law School in Boston, ladies and gentlemen, finalist number 3, Bill Oates.
I'm gonna tell you a story. I'm gonna tell you about my town. I'm gonna tell you a big fat story, baby. It's all about my town.
Well, welcome, Bill. Great to have you here.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So you're the first cabinet level CIO in the city of Boston. How did that come about, and what kind of expectations were there for that job when it was set up?
Well, I think it came about before I arrived, so I think it was great. I look back at how it must have been for predecessors, within city government that weren't positioned that way to actually sit on the cabinet, report directly to the mayor, and have that connection. So I think the city had realized, that they needed to look a little differently at how technology can enable the transformation we were looking for in government. And so placing the position where it was a huge step in the right direction. I had, been in the private sector all my life, didn't know what to expect. And I think the good news is I think the mayor has allowed me to kind of craft what that role should be in the city. And I think that's been very instrumental in what we've been able to accomplish over the last few years.
Can I take it he's been behind you when you need him?
He's been great. I think that, we're very fortunate, that, the mayor, our mayor in Boston is in his 19th year, of being the mayor, longest serving mayor in the history of Boston. And isn't naturally a technology guy, but he knew, that we needed to leverage technology and information to change government. So, when I first came in, he had a lot of trust in what we were doing, in my ability to kind of create those relationships across the various cabinets. I mean, one of the challenges with government, I think, is that it is pretty fragmented. The structure of government is pretty challenging. They don't necessarily think as an enterprise. And so as I started talking to the mayor about why it was important to make these investments in enterprise technology, he was very, very supportive of it. And as we have delivered some successes, his issue has always been pretty simple. When I would come to him for some major investment we wanted to make, he'd point out the window of his out the window of his office, say, "What's it going to do for those people?" Right? That's how Mayor Menino has been in office so long, is he's so focused on kids and families and neighborhoods. And I'd say, "Mayor, give me a little time, right? We need to build some of these kind of foundation systems and get things in shape, get the organization in shape, and then you'll see it." And I think after we were able to do that in a number of places, and the mayor, one thing about our mayor, he's out in the neighborhoods all the time. When he started going out to dinners or to community meetings and start hearing about how our service delivery had changed or how the tools we had created were so helpful to the constituents, he became even a bigger supporter of what we were doing. So the first couple years were a lot of kind of education and investment. The last few years have been really exciting, and we're still at the beginning of being able to leverage technologies to do great things for the citizens of Boston.
And I know one of your applications that really was right on to that, helping people, was this Citizens Connect. Can you talk a little bit about that and its impact?
So I think Citizens Connect for us was really our first foray into real innovation and change, and it actually goes back to 2009. We had, again, done some of the blocking and tackling, built some of the enterprise systems that we needed to support just basically how citizens anywhere in the city with any kind of issue could reach out and engage with government. So after delivering some of the core technologies, we developed a mobile app that was really pretty simple. It was, how can you put in the hands of the consumer, who, as everyone's been talking about today, consumerization has given a lot of power into that technology that folks are using. And so we developed an app that allowed those constituents to pretty much reach out to us with any issue that they have. I wanted to fix a pothole or a street light, anything like that. But it wasn't just going to some standalone PC somewhere that somebody would print out a piece of paper and go through that same old process. It had been engineered so it would actually go to the guy who was going to fix your pothole or the person who was going to fix that street light in your neighborhood. And so what happened is we had an overwhelmingly positive reaction to the city of Boston actually delivering something that was a really cool and well-designed app. And more importantly, because we now had better data, we were also getting improvements in the service delivery. So it was great that you had an app, but it was really great that the pothole was getting fixed every time or the street light was getting fixed. So we have gone through multiple iterations of Citizens Connect. It's become a complete program for us. It started with a kind of a one-on-one connection from constituent to the city. We turned it into a network connection so you can post all these service requests you're making to the neighborhood. We have instances where neighbors have been helping neighbors actually fix some of the issues that they're finding, and we have some new apps that are really exciting. But what we've really done is created this new connection between city government and our constituency. And what we're finding from these folks, and when we ask them if they like the app, they say, yeah, I never would call the city, to report a pothole because I felt like I was complaining. But now that you gave me this really cool app, I really feel like I'm helping. And so that whole change in mentality has really given us, kind of a wide open door to do more things with the constituents and enabling technology to connect them to their city government.
Okay, maybe one final question. CIOs and companies face a lot of culture and politics, but it seems to me you're kind of the extreme point on the politics. Yep. As a CIO, how do you deal with politics?
Well, I was the CIO at Starwood Hotels before I came to the city for about 6 years. And when people ask me that question, I say, you think politics are bad here? You should have seen what the politics were like there, right? At least here, it's very upfront, right? We all know we live in a political world. But I have found that, to actually be, a very positive aspect of what we're doing. So much of what we're doing, the way the city of Boston is structured politically is we have a very strong mayor form of government. I have a mayor who's as strong and empowered as any private sector CEO I ever worked for in the private sector. And so when we make decisions, we're very much out front to the neighborhoods. We're looking at all kinds of ways to source ideas for innovation. We're out into neighborhoods, into higher ed institutions that are around us, into the private sector. So we've developed a nice community approach to this. So we really do get a good sense as an IT organization on what new ideas can really change things in the city. So as we start percolating things up to the mayor, we've developed a whole office on innovation called the Office of New Urban Mechanics. As we start creating those pipeline of projects and bringing them to the mayor, we've vetted a lot of these things out from the political perspective. But we've found that the reaction we get once we get out in the streets with some of these products has been really positive, and the political part of it has been a good thing because we have such involvement across the community.
Great. Sounds like a real success story.
It's been a lot of fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Oates. Our fourth finalist is the Executive Vice President and Chief Information Officer for State Street Corporation. He leads a team of over 5,000 IT professionals supporting operations in 29 countries, covering all major investment centers. He co-leads the company's Operations and Information Technology Transformation Program. Prior to joining State Street, he was a CIO for General Electric Commercial Finance, CIO for the North American Consumer Financial Services Unit, and Chief Technology Officer for GE Capital. An associate partner at Anderson Consulting with degrees in electrical engineering from Johns Hopkins University and Syracuse University, and recently, after 30 to 40 seconds of intense study, an ordained minister of the Universal Life Church. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome finalist number 4, Chris Perretta.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes a Spider-Man. Is he strong? Listen, buddy.
Well, welcome, Chris.
Oh, it's great to be here in Cambridge.
You know the place a little bit, I think.
No.
Well, your operation's really global, and 4,000 or 5,000 people spread around the world. Can you tell us a little bit about what the unique challenges are for you and your CIO role globally?
Sure. Obviously, you're in financial services. Number one, it's going through massive change, right? So not only that impacts us, it impacts our customers. So as we become more global, our customers become more global, and they look for global solutions. So now when we service our customers, we're in the business of basically, part of our business, a major part of our business is outsourcing what they do, their back office. So we need to follow the sun with the same set of books around the world, and to really be cognizant of all the regulation and compliance issues around the world and different regulators, and basically make a cohesive team that can work together on those in all those countries you mentioned. So it's a big problem, and it's a team that basically first and foremost has to be stewards of other people's money to the tune of about assets under management and custody is now $24 trillion. So it's something that you need to kind of take care of.
So the kind of back office functions that you do, are they prone to the fluctuations that you see like at JP Morgan? And
well, certainly the volumes, no, we have nothing to do with JP Morgan. No, actually, so obviously we are subject to the volumes in markets and the fluctuation in pricing and the volumes that you see, and obviously as an asset manager, obviously you are viewed as being highly performant in its particular market. So certainly the markets have a big impact on how we do financially and how we service our customers. Sure.
Because you have large volume of transactions, presumably bulking up at various times.
Right.
I mean, think to the Facebook.
Right.
Kind of fiasco of trading and delaying trading.
Well, certainly during the financial crisis, it was some interesting times. There was a lot of money moving with no place to go, right, to end up. So those are the types of days that you need to prepare for. And as I think the most interesting thing is as we digitize more and more of the business, as we saw the other day with the Facebook issue, the burden and the challenge for the infrastructure has to be always on, right? Because there's not enough people anymore to cover for you when you have that interruption anymore. So
These big
it's a
surges
different
and
animal.
any glitch just magnifies it.
That's right, and it's a big deal.
Now you've kind of handled these delivery things, but you're one of the things you talk about is your business transformation system.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about kind of that next step of how you transform beyond where you are and
Sure.
what's happened there?
I think the IT team at State Street's really kind of taken the lead in the overall transformation of the business. And I think given the nature of the fundamental changes of the economic environment, that there needed to be fundamental change in the way we do our business. Technology was kind of knowing full well that we had to change the business, but technology had to take a lead role in that transformation. And what we were able to do was connect at a very detailed level the business operation and the challenges the business was facing with some of the core architectural issues that we needed to address in our systems. And since we build so many of the systems we run, take advantage of the new technologies that are now out there. And when you think about that, that's rather startling because so for instance, at 4 o'clock when the markets close here in the States, you price every mutual fund in the world, and funds are made up of not only equities but other funds and funds of funds. So at 4 o'clock, all hell breaks loose. When you think about the power of the cloud technologies, where you can take that parallelism to the nth degree, you can price mutual funds in real time, which is important in global economies and in global businesses, and you have a tremendous computing power for data mining and data analytics. And obviously in markets to detect anomalies. And when you can detect anomalies, that's important because in financial service, anomaly is either food for you or you're about to be food, right? So that's really fundamentally the power of all this. When you think about it, we have infinite computing power at our disposal if we play our cards right. So.
Great. It's interesting across the whole panel. You get a lot of common issues of customer orientation really paying off, strategic focus, latest technology, and transformation, political, cultural. So great work to all our contestants.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Perretta. So let's recap now our 4 finalists very quickly for you. Kathy Bruno, Eastern Maine Healthcare.
Do you want them to go up?
She's supposed to come stand up. She forgot. Okay, so much for rehearsal.
So we got
Totally
all
fine.
four
Susan
people up here.
Cooklin, CEO of Network Rail. Bill Oates, City of Boston. And Chris Perretta, State Street Corporation. Oh, hold on. Photo first.
Right?
Okay. So Glen's asking for the envelope.
Yep. And the winner of the leadership is Kathy Bruno, Eastern Maine Health Systems, and Chris Perretta, State Street Corporation. We got two winners.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thanks very much.
That's what it says.
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
So not just one, we get two. Okay. Kathy, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
No, it's all right.
We got a picture. And Chris, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for this award. I am very honored to be the winner of this prestigious MIT Sloan CIO Innovation Award. And I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize all the dedicated, hardworking people at EMHS and the Bangor Beacon community who together are changing the way healthcare services are delivered in Maine. Being a Chief Information Officer is about bringing out the best in all the people with whom I work. And this award truly recognizes their achievement as well. I would like to thank my family who supported me and is often the wind beneath my wings. I am privileged to be in the company of such distinguished, dedicated, and diverse group of global business and industry thought leaders. Today at this symposium, we are advancing our profession by learning from our communities, academic and business colleagues, and by sharing our ideas, stories, and experiences. The Bangor Beacon community is breaking new ground in collaborative and coordinated care of people with 4 chronic diseases: asthma, diabetes, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and congestive heart failure. I already mentioned that in a 6-month period of time, we use electronic health records and care management in innovative ways, and we're improving the quality of life of these people by focusing on factors that they can control in their disease and their symptoms. And we lowered the cost of hospitalizations and emergency department visits. The United States cannot afford continued increases in healthcare costs beyond the current 17.4% of GDP. To control the cost of healthcare, Medicare is piloting accountable care organizations, and EMHS is willing to be a pioneer in this new method of reimbursement and risk sharing because of our success with the Bangor Beacon community. We're also in discussions with large self-insured employers to bring the Bangor Beacon methods and results to their employees. Individual healthcare providers are like solo musicians. They studied hard and are expert at playing their particular instrument, whether it's the violin, the flute, the piano, or some other instrument. In the new era of healthcare, the innovation is that they are playing together for the first time to the score of best practices and coordinated care. We started small in the Bangor Beacon community, and right now we're like a small chamber orchestra, and we have already made huge strides in improving the quality of the lives of the people with chronic illness who we serve. You all know that this is not easy. It takes a new culture, additional skills, and lots of practice. We are still composing the musical score for our future, and with continued practice and expanding our repertoire, we will improve our skill playing together and further develop our best practices and coordination of care. So this is our dream for the future, to have teams of providers like orchestras working together to improve the health and wellness of the people we serve in our communities. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I thought we had agreed that we were going to share the same acceptance speech. Now I don't know what to say. No, so I wanted to say, first of all, thank you to MIT Sloan School, the Center for Digital Business, the Alumni Association, and SIM for putting on a really tremendous conference. It's really a tremendous effort, and by attendance, it's really an impressive turnout, so congratulations to them. Also, obviously the MIT and the MIT Sloan School in particular do such wonderful work, and very impressive. I know we gain a lot of insight from it. All the more surprising the questionable judgment they use when determining winners. Anyway, so but we'll let that pass. So first of all, I wanted to obviously thank the team. Every CIO worth their soul knows who does the work. Sometimes I think my job is kind of like a department head at a university. Is you get the best technology people you can with the record of delivery, and you build an organization with the right level of autonomy, emphasis on the right types of autonomy. You line them up with a purpose that's aligned with their stakeholders, and then my job is to go get them the dough they need to do what they need to do, right? So, and that's making the commercial case for what we do. And as I mentioned before, the team is, first and foremost has to be focused on their stewardship responsibilities, protecting the assets of our customers. And in that regard, they have to be kind of courageous to change, because the cost of failure is very, very high. So they impress me every day with that. So we've embarked on a transformation activity, and I think the key is to kind of connect it with business results directly. And so for things in the past which have been done really below decks without a lot of visibility, now suddenly are the forefront of the company, and the team is making a material difference in the operation and the performance of the business, to the point where it has the support, the explicit support and oversight of the board of directors and frankly, the investor community. So I think when IT can get to that stage, we are making a difference in the right way. So I applaud the teams. And actually when you see, and you really, the light has gone on, and especially when you cannot hear the talks and the panels we heard today without appreciating the fact that the role of technology, especially in financial services, is growing exponentially, and the role of IT, as opposed to what the role of the rest of the business is getting kind of blurry. And the traditional way that we've done IT is kind of broken, and we need to fix it for the next generation. I keep a manual typewriter behind my desk that was built in the year I was born, which is pretty old. It's got sticks and rocks and stuff on it, so it's a pretty old typewriter. But it reminds me of the fact that, remember, typists used to all sit in the pool. When you needed something typed, you send it down to the pool. So I think, we have to change the way we treat technology in the future state, and the role of an IT professional is going to change, given the fact that we have to change the way we run and can even consider how we manage IT. So when we think about IT costs, it really, in my mind, doesn't make any sense to add up the cost of the HR system with the cost of bringing a new client on our systems, right? You might as well add up the cost of all the left-handed people in the company and manage that, right? So we have to start managing IT the way our customers would recognize. And that means being a lot more business process focused, and a whole new set of infrastructures and a whole new way of looking at the business in general, and the distinction between technology, organization, and the rest of the business is going to get very, very blurry, and really based on competency more than a functional designation. So we live in very, very exciting times, and as I mentioned, very, very exciting technologies, which really can change the bar. So I think with that, I would like to salute my fellow finalists for an incredible performance, and frankly, all of you, because at the end of the day, we all heard that it's important for CIOs to be business focused and to be just perfectly in tune with customers and anticipation of what the market's bringing, what customers' needs are. But at the end of the day, this is our craft in terms of information technology, and by you being here, you're care and feeding for our craft. And at the end of the day, and I say this over and over again, how we build things actually matter. And it's by taking care of our craft that we can continue to enlighten our businesses and to enhance the careers of the people who work in technology. So my salute to you and fellow finalists. Time for a group hug. Thanks very much. Take care now.
Chris, good job. Thank you so much.